Welcome to Biography Central. You are listening to Life of Sri Ramakrishna, a complete biography. Chapter 31, Surendra and Kedar. Ramchandra had a friend named Surendra Nath Mitra who lived close to him. Surendra was an educated man and held an important post in an English firm for which he drew considerable income. He was a typical young man of his day, bohemian, and with no special bias towards religion, but he took pleasure in alleviating the sufferings of the poor and needy. It is said that one day a woman sannyasin of imposing appearance accosted him in passing with these words, "My dear son, he alone is true and everything is false." This remark impressed him deeply. He went through a hell of mental agony, which drove him almost to suicide in his struggles with his lower nature. Ramchandra invited him many times to go with him to Dakshineshwar, but was always met with a refusal. At last he said, "All right, I shall go. But if your saint be a humbug, I shall pull him by the ears." He went to Dakshineshwar and entered Sri Ramakrishna's room. The master was talking with a number of devotees. Surendra took his seat without showing any mark of respect. He heard the master saying to a devotee, "Why does a man behave like the young monkey and not like the kitten? The former clings to its mother when she moves about by its own effort, but the latter goes on mewing till the mother comes and takes hold of it by the neck. The young monkey sometimes misses its hold on its mother and is badly hurt, but the kitten runs no such risk, for the mother herself carries it from place to place. Such is the difference between self-effort and resignation to God." This parable was an eye-opener to Surendra. Why, he thought, I am behaving just like that young monkey, and that is the cause of my misery. From now on, I will not go against the will of God, nor think of committing suicide if things do not turn out according to my wishes. I shall be satisfied with any condition the blissful mother chooses to place me in, and only call upon her. The master strengthened his remarks with another parable. Surendra heaved a sigh of relief at the lightness of his heart. He learned to take refuge at the lotus feet of the mother and began to look upon himself as her child. He felt a great access of strength within him. Every word of the master he treasured in his mind. When he was leaving, the master said, "Don't forget to come again." Surendra was captivated and prostrated himself before Sri Ramakrishna. On his way home, he remarked to his friends, "Ah, the tables have been turned. He has pulled me by the ears. How could I know that he was such a man, that he would read my inmost thoughts? Now I feel that there is some meaning in life." Thus, at Surendra's very first meeting with the master, he was a changed man. He became deeply attached to Sri Ramakrishna and went to Dakshineshwar almost every Sunday. All were amazed at his great yearning for God. The master addressed him as Suresh, and it was the praise of his devotion which caused Almano Mohan's heart burning, which we discussed in an earlier chapter. One day, Surendra heard the master saying to a devotee, "A little manliness is necessary for everybody." Thereupon he thought, "But this is my disease, and Lord save me from it." Sri Ramakrishna at once remarked, "I do not mean that struggle for pleasure which only debases a man and which even animals have. You must have the manliness of Arjuna to stick to an ideal up to the last breath of your life." Though by this time Surendra had become a great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, he had not freed himself from past associations, and sometimes he was led to commit indiscretions, of which he was greatly ashamed. After such happenings, he tried to evade the master. One Sunday, he did not go to Dakshineshwar, giving business as an excuse, and his friends reported to Sri Ramakrishna that he had again taken to bad company. The master listened and calmly said, "He has still some desires. Let him enjoy a little while longer. He will become stainless ere long." These words reached Surendra. On the following Sunday, he visited Sri Ramakrishna, but sat at a distance in a corner. The master noticed it and tenderly invited him to come and sit near him. Then in a half-conscious state, he said, "Well, when a man goes to an undesirable place, why doesn't he take the Divine Mother with him? Then he can escape many an evil action." Surendra was a sensitive man and was much afraid lest Sri Ramakrishna should expose him. But the master stopped there. The little that he had said however, opened Surendra's eyes. He had tried so long to overcome his faults, and these words of the Master showed him an easy way to conquer them. His devotion to Sri Ramakrishna deepened. One day, he was working in his office when he felt a sudden urge to go and see the Master. There was yet a good deal of work to do, which he could not leave unfinished. But the desire to see the Master was too strong, and he hurried to Dakshineshwar. On arriving there, he found the Master preparing to go to Calcutta. Seeing him, Sri Ramakrishna said, "It is good that you have come. I was anxious about you and was going to Calcutta to see you." Surendra was astonished. How strange, he thought. I was thinking of coming here, and he felt the desire to see me. Then he humbly said, "If you are going out to see me, then please come to my house." Sri Ramakrishna agreed, and overjoyed Surendra took him to his home. From this time, Surendra was regarded as one of the inner circle of Sri Ramakrishna's devotees. He frequently invited the Master and his devotees to his house to hold those little festivals of which we have made mention. And it was at one of these that the Master met Surendra Nath for the first time. His purse was always open for Sri Ramakrishna's comfort. When devotees stayed with the Master at Dakshineshwar, Surendra cheerfully bore their expenses also. The Master used to designate him as a Razadar in part. That is to say, he was commissioned by the Divine Mother to defray some part of Sri Ramakrishna's expenses. One of Surendra's weak points was his love of drink, from which his friends tried their utmost to wean him. Ramchandra, in particular, pressed him again and again to give it up, not only because it was detrimental to his health, but because it cast a reflection upon the fair name of Sri Ramakrishna, whose devotee he had become. Surendra, who was a follower of Shakti, did not look upon it as a great sin, finally said, "But why are you so insistent about it? The Master would certainly warn me if he considered it injurious to me. He knows all about it." "Well," said Ram, "let us go to him. He will surely ask you to give it up." "Agreed," said Surendra, "but you must not bring up the subject. Let him say so of his own accord, and I will give it up without fail." They went to Dakshineshwar and bowed before the Master, who was sitting under the buckle tree in an exalted state of mind. The Master said, "Well, Suresh, why should you drink wine as wine? Offer it to Kali, and take it as her prasad, but see that you do not get intoxicated. Your gait must not falter, nor your thoughts wander. At first you will feel the ordinary excitement, but soon it will lead to spiritual felicity." The two friends were amazed. Surendra thenceforth followed this advice. Every evening, he offered a little wine to the goddess before drinking it. Curiously enough, it opened the floodgates of his devotion. Like a child, he cried plaintively for the mother and talked only of God. Sometimes he sat still in deep meditation. Everybody was struck by his sincerity and devotion. The evil effects of wine could not touch him. He had a picture painted showing the harmony of religions as conceived by Sri Ramakrishna. The prophets of all religions met there on a common platform. The mosque, the temple, and the church were depicted side by side. Sri Gauranga and Jesus danced together while holding hands. And Sri Ramakrishna pointed out to Keshab the synthesis of all faiths. Surendra sent a copy of it to Keshab, who acknowledged its receipt with the remark, "Blessed is the man who has conceived the idea." Kedar Chatterjee was originally a Brahmo, but subsequently tried many other paths. He was a man of devotional temperament and attracted attention by his tears when the name of God was mentioned. But he could find no solace in religious pursuits. He came to Dakshineshwar and took refuge at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. The Master was delighted to see his spiritual fervor and assigned to him a place among his householder devotees. Kedar generally lived at Dhaka and preached the message of Sri Ramakrishna among the people there. It is said that the Master, weary of instructing devotees who were coming in ever-increasing numbers seeking his guidance, once prayed to Kali, "Mother, I cannot speak to so many people. Please empower Kedar, Grish, Ram, Vijay, and Mahendra to give them the preliminary instructions, so that just a little teaching from me will suffice." The Master, who respected everybody's sincere belief, often set devotees of different temperaments to argue with one another. Kedar was very good at repartee. One day, in a discussion about God, a devotee asked him how, if God was our kind Father, he would explain why there was so much misery in creation. To this, Kedar replied, "Well, he did not invite me to the meeting where he decided the point." Sri Ramakrishna appreciated the reply and often referred to it. Kedar had within him the instincts of the gopis of Vrindavan, and at sight of him, Sri Ramakrishna would often fall into trance. The master saw, however, that in spite of his devotion, Kedar had some lingering attachment to worldly things. So he tried to fortify him against them. One day, in a state of semi-consciousness, he said to him, "You are still attached to lust and wealth. It is no use protesting that you are above them. Go forward. There are many more valuable things beyond the forest of sandalwood. Example, mines of silver, gold and diamond, etc." I hope you like this chapter. We need volunteers and sponsors to create content with even better quality and with more variety. If you wish to join this initiative as a volunteer or sponsor, please click the links given in description below. To help us reach more viewers, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Biography Central. Thank you for your time. It means a lot. Namaste.